Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today a different topic, and that is football. Yesterday, an all-time great of football, Diego Armando Maradona, that was his full name, but known as Diego Maradona or Maradona simply, was one of the great players produced in the football sports, and he was also voted as one of the two joint winners of the FIFA Football Player of 20th Century, along with Pele of Brazil. The internet poll gave him overwhelming first position, but then a repoll was carried out based on old players, sports journalists, etc., who voted Pele. So these two were then declared the two joint winners of the FIFA International Football Association, FIFA, the two best players of the 20th century. Maradona died yesterday by heart attack in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He was an Argentinian all-time great football player. Argentina has produced many great football players who emerged on the World Cup and on the world football scene. The likes of first Mario Kempes, who was player of the World Cup in 1972, winning for Argentina for the first time the world title, defeating Holland in the finals in Buenos Aires. 1978, Mario Kempes, left-footed, lean, thin player, played as a centre forward, striker. Then is the emergence of Diego Maradona. Maradona, the first club before he played for the Argentino Juniors, he became famous and he was noticed as a very young kid, dribbling past multiple players, his speed, his agility, and he was nicknamed in the Argentina they speak Spanish, Al Pibe de Oro. Al Pibe de Oro means the golden kid, because of his tremendous skills that he displayed at a young age, just like Messi. And Messi, when he played as a young boy in Barcelona Academy, and Diego Maradona had announced that he is going to be like me. And I think that was the first public opinion of the great football player Messi that we see nowadays. So Diego Maradona's first club was Argentino Juniors in Argentina. His next club was the famous Argentinian team, Boca Juniors. Boca Juniors and River Plate, the two great clubs of Argentine football, who alternately win the Argentine Football Association Cup. After Boca Juniors, he moved to Spain, and in Spain he played for Barcelona, the great club for which Messi plays and for which many other great players have played in the past. He played in Barcelona, then moved to Italy, to the famous Napoli club. He played for Napoli and gave them many titles. And along with them were some of the great Italian football players, the great strikers. And then he moved back to Spain, and he came to Sevilla in southern Spain. From Sevilla, he moved to back to Argentina, and he played for Newell's Old Boys. Now, this was a club founded in 1903 in Argentina, and is supposed to be one of the few pioneers of Argentine football. He was an English football player who moved from Kent in England and settled in Argentina in South America. So NOB is the short of that football club. The last football World Cup that Argentina played, in which Maradona played, he was crying in the finals because they lost to Germany, expecting to win. In fact, at that time it was West Germany. They had not yet become one Germany. But 86, he led them to the title. He didn't score in the final. I saw all his goals in quarterfinals and semi-finals. In the final, because everybody was marking him, I still remember Diego Maradona did not score. And I think it was Barachoga or the electrical Canija, the winger. These two players scored. A winning overall 3-2 victory over West Germany in 1986 finals in Mexico City. So he took up to drugs, which is a sad story. He started putting on weight, became obese, he in fact overweight, he developed heart problem, then he had to be treated for drugs, then he left drugs. So this is a sad story that a great player went into the bad habit of taking drugs. That's all for Maradona today. Wishing football to become the number one game, popular game in Pakistan in a decade or decade plus time. That is what I see. Younger boys age 6, 5 onwards to about, you can say, till about 30 plus in Pakistan are following the different leagues, La Liga, the Spanish league. It is all Barcelona and Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and then Juventus, where Ronaldo plays now, having moved from Real Madrid to Juventus. Then there are other great football teams like Bayern Munich, Dortmund, and then there are great Dutch football teams, Ajax. And in England, in the Premier League, you've got Chelsea, you've got Liverpool, the rivals of my favorite club, Manchester United. And you've got Liverpool has won the European Cup a number of times. Manchester United has won European Cup more than once. In fact, 3 times before it became UEFA. And as UEFA Champions League also they won when Beckham played for them. So these are the great football clubs. Arsenal is another football club which is a great English football club. So I followed Manchester United from the age of 11 years when it met a crash. There was no TV in Pakistan then. I'm talking about 1958 January. I read it in a magazine which came to my Melody College library. I was in the boarding school and there was a magazine which has stopped publishing. I just checked up. It had a glazed paper called the Illustrated London News. And besides that, there was another magazine which used to come to our library, the Sport Times, which gave all the top records in athletics, different matches, different sports. And also one of my favorites used to be the annual Oxford versus Cambridge boat race. Years later, I discovered that between the Yale and Harvard University, there was a rowing competition. The English Oxford versus Cambridge boat race used to start at Putney and finish at Putney. And so that was my great favorite. Even now I follow which one. Of course, Oxford is my favorite as far as this competition is concerned. Besides that, in USA, between the Annapolis Naval Academy and the West Point, the American Military Academy, there is an annual competition too. So rowing, we got rivers, we got lakes, we got canals, and I don't know why, particularly lakes afford the stability in which a lot of rowing can be done. Yachting, rowing, why can't we enter the Olympics competitions? There are various classes of boats which are used, single, 2-man, there are teams, and we can win medals. We can win medals if we pay attention to it. If we pay attention to football, which is played by the entire world, and move ourselves away from our single obsession with cricket, come back to hockey, we have nearly finished hockey, and pay attention to squash, in which we have won a whooping 38 times our individual squash players, starting with Hashim Khan the Great till the last champion, and no more now. So Pakistan can again start producing great squash player. Downhill skiing, cross-country skiing is another thing. Cross-country skiing is one that we can do. In northern areas, our boys who are there, they are using wooden skis. In the Neelam Valley, boys are using wooden skis. They are carved it themselves out of wood, rough, fit on their boots, and they ski. So if the government pays attention to them, skiing is another sport in which we can do well. And finally, long distance running, starting from middle distance to long distance. We got hills, people have got lung capacity, Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Kashmir, Balochistan. Use these talent to develop long distance running and start winning medals in the world. In the Asian Games, our sportsmen, particularly from the army, used to bring gold, silver, and bronze in the Asian Games, starting from 1954, Manila, where Khalik became the fastest man of Asia. But over last 2 decades plus, our single obsession has become cricket. We cannot see anything else. And cricket is not, I am very frank in saying that, not played all over the world. But these other games are. Allah Hafiz. Pakistan Zindabad.